Hey guys, it's Emily, and I'm back with another speed build. This time we are doing the Kate Emerald Shell Challenge. I know there's a lot of folks out there doing this because Kate Emerald is such an awesome builder and we all definitely look up to her. And so I thought I definitely wanted to try it this time around. I missed her last shell challenge. And this one's on a kind of small lot for her anyway. I think it's 30 by 30. And so I was relieved that I didn't have to do a big honkin' mansion like she normally does, which are so impressive, but um, me personally cannot pull that off. I did that one, I think 64 by 64 mansion, and that was enough to put me off for like the next year. So I was really happy that this is a little bit smaller lot. And I can see, like in my mind, I can totally see it's a Kate Emerald shell. Like the lines and everything is just so indicative of her style, and I can kind of imagine the way that she would outfit it with real extravagant and opulence, and it would just make she would make it look so gorgeous. And so I kind of thought, well, there's no way I can make it look gorgeous and extravagant in the way that she does. So I kind of went the opposite way. I thought I'm gonna make this thing run down and rustic and murky and abandoned, and so that's what we ended up doing. I'm calling it an abandoned hydroelectric power plant. But it kind of, we kind of have the dam. I took some creative liberties. We have the dam there with that Discovery University debug dam or waterfall, I guess. So that's what it is in my mind. And then, it being abandoned, I decided to have the water up above and below kind of look polluted. And I ended up throwing some debug like trash items down there from the new eco lifestyle, and just kind of took that theme and ran with it. And that was really what inspired me. I thought, there's no way in heck I can make this like extravagant like she does. And so I'm going to make this as kind of run down and factory feel as I could. So, in the end, I really enjoyed what I come up with. I don't know really what you do in this build. Like I have it set as a museum, and so it's not even a home. I guess you could have, your homeless Sims kind of hang out here. There are kind of all the basic amenities. Well, not a bed, but there's a bench you could sleep on or nap on. And so I do use the tool mod quite a lot. Again, if you don't know anything about the tool mod, it's kind of a builder's mod, really for builders. It takes you can use it on any items in the game, but in my case, I don't have any CC in my game, so anything I alter with the tool mod doesn't show up as CC because you already have those items in your game, and so your game recognizes them as part of the game. But with the tool mod, you can just alter them in ways that you normally couldn't, which I think is super awesome, super creative, allows for creativity. And so that's why I use it and so many builders use it. And of course, the awesome thing is you can upload it to the gallery and it doesn't show as custom content, even though it's altered a little bit. But again, because those items are in your game, it doesn't show up as custom content. Here I'm using the tool mod. That's the marble countertop. And this is one example of things you can do is I'm lowering it into the ground. You normally wouldn't be able to do that unless you had the tool mod. And so that's one way that you can use it is you can raise things up or lower things down in ways that you normally wouldn't be able to. The caveat with that is sometimes you can run into problems or run into trouble because if I wanted to alter those cabinets, now they're, or that tabletop that I put into the ground, I can't access it. Like I can't pull it because it's into the ground. So I need to either lower the ground or figure out some way, demolish the whole lot or something. So that there are tricky things you can run into when using the tool mod. So there is an undo feature that is awesome, and that could have saved me out of that issue too. But just kind of as a heads up, if you do use it, definitely play around with it for a while and figure out all the nuances before you really start wanting to build with it in case you run into issues like that. But thankfully there is the undo option, so you hopefully wouldn't have any long-lasting issues. Again, I wanted to have kind of this metal feel. this worn feel, and so I'm using those the rooftops that are kind of this corrugated metal as rusty, and then all around the whole build we're using that iron fencing. I end up changing out the coloration, but you know, it's still that same feel of this kind of industrial vibe. And doing this roof was really tricky to figure out, so I kind of cut that out for you. But in the end, we did monkey with it and get it to work for us. Trying to figure out what windows I liked. I think these Machino windows, you know, are really industrial looking and fit the build really well. But we wanted to incorporate some different shapes as well. In the little bathroom area, you'll see on the end there's some kind of more traditional windows. Here I'm using the tool mod again to get these pillars down further. Like normally you wouldn't be able to lower them down. Here I'm lowering them down and sliding them over. There's a new feature on Tool where you can click and slide. That just was recently added, and it is really awesome. I love that one. I've been using that all the time now. So definitely, again, I can't say enough good things about the tool mod. I think every video of mine that I've made since I installed the tool mod, maybe actually every video that I made, because I may have had it the whole time, I say, you know, I love this mod and can't say enough good things about it. So those propellers, I wish they turned, but I ended up really thinking they really fit with the kind of the theme that we're going for, and that you would have propellers when you're moving water for a hydroelectric power plant. And so we end up using the tool mod to flip them over again in a way that they aren't normally situated, and using them throughout the build. Here we have some kind of electrical towers from the debug menu, and then the poles, the electrical poles. Again, all this is from debug. I don't know what I would do without the access to the live edit objects and the debug menu, because it allows for so much creativity. And I love all the knickknacks and things that you can place and create kind of a particular vibe or a particular mood with the build. Here again, just using that tool mod to lower the fence in a way that the terrain normally wouldn't allow, but because of that mod, I can get it lower so you can actually see into the whole hydroelectric power plant area, but it's keeping everybody safe from falling into that water if that were a thing in The Sims. I found this object in debug and I thought, well, we can utilize that. I didn't really know what I was going to put on that platform down there. And so to have this kind of container with the ladder going up really kind of made sense. And again, it changes up the structure of Kate's build, but it's not altering it technically. And she did specifically say that the tool mod is allowed. So I was happy about that, because I build with the tool mod in all my builds, and I recently, for the Spark Challenge, I had to build without the tool mod because they don't allow that, and it was really challenging. I've really come to rely on that, and so I was really relieved when Kate said that she would allow it, just because, again, it doesn't create any custom content. It already uses objects in your game, and so anybody can utilize it, and for her to view the build, she doesn't have to download a bunch of custom content. Here I'm having, of course, a pipe that empties out into the main water area. And so we just take some of the pool sprinklers and using the tool mod to lower them. You could raise them up from the bottom floor to the correct height if you wanted to, but the tool mod just kind of simplifies it for me. And here you'll see I'm switching everything out for the yellow. When I brought those propellers out, I thought that yellow is going to stick out like a sore thumb. And so I wanted to, incorporate more yellow. Right there you'll see me. I just added the new mod by Twisted Mexi, which is BB Protect. When I was changing the railings, I found that that structure that we placed over on the left there was disappearing when I placed the railings. And if you have that mod, the protect mod, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but if you enable it, type BB protect, it will allow you to place things that and then not make the other items disappear. It's kind of a glitch that sometimes happens, and it's happened to me a few times when I built things. And so I installed that mod, and it really prevented that from disappearing when I wanted to replace the items around it. So I did turn it off right away because it can cause some issues, and Twisted Mexi, the developer of the mod, actually states turn it on for when you're using it only and then turn it off. And so I'm definitely going to follow his direction. He's the one that knows the mod inside and out. Here I wanted to have some like power lines. It seemed really appropriate, even though they're kind of floating and not attached to anything. I really like the look of it, and I thought, a power plant would have structures like that. And so I ended up putting those down below as kind of an area where the staff or the workers could access theoretically, but that the general public can't go there. And so that's why it's kind of fenced off, and we end up putting like a blockade there. You see I have the orange cone there, but we ended up putting like a full-on blockade. And here I'm just adding some rocks, lowering them with tool. Again, you could lower them up from the basement floor if you didn't have tool to achieve a similar look, but the tool mod just simplifies so many things. So definitely, if you're a builder and you're running into a lot of issues like this and you want to have some more creativity, definitely check it out. Here I'm just trying to incorporate some of those like warning signs that you would see around an electrical plant or a power plant. I wanted to have the feel of like some high security. So we have, the door that you need your key card to access. We have the video camera. Inside, I was actually looking at pictures of power plants, and I think it's the Hoover Dam has kind of this space like this that has like a propeller turbine, maybe. I'm not sure what the structure is. I didn't discover that, but I wanted to include it in this build. And right here, you'll see me using the tool mod to flip that. And then we end up sizing it up and down to the exact right size so that it would fit in that space I created. And then we're going to create what I assume is a turbine of some sort. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would like to know the actual term if that's not the correct one. And so this is kind of loosely based off of the pictures I was looking at. And really, the inside structure is pretty simple. What I've included, we have like when you first go in the door, there's like a main office area. And then there's this area with the turbine, and we end up having a lot of equipment. And then on the top floor here, we have like a staff room. So, real simple. Oh, and then there is a basement that I included, like a sanitation shower area, like if there was a chemical spill or something like that, which I don't know if you'd have that in a hydroelectric power plant, but it seemed appropriate, to my build, and so I included it down in the basement space. Again, this is taking some liberties. It's not hyper realistic, but is a vibe I was going for, this abandoned rundown. And so in the final screenshots, you'll see the cabinets. I have made them all dirty, so it looks all decrepit and again polluted and things like that. So I really enjoyed doing this. In a way, doing shell challenges is really brings out my creativity, just because I am functioning within some restrictions, and so it makes me think of how I can use the space in a different way than when I'm doing my own builds from scratch. I'm thinking about logistics of things like, okay, well, the roof can't go that way because it wouldn't be realistic, or you wouldn't have that there because that doesn't make sense. So I think especially with something like this, it's not a home. I definitely could have a lot more creativity with what things I put where. You totally could change this into a home lot, like I said. Um, I can see somebody like squatting here, which is kind of what I imagined. Is that I had a couple of Sims who I used the Get Famous and makeup and put like dirt on their face and kind of some of the eco lifestyle um, clothes that are kind of, recycled looking. And that's who I had playtesting in here. You'll see them at the cinematic tour. They're in that. But, you could change it out any way you want. And there are going to be so many different options of this shell on the gallery. And you can find them by using the shell hashtag. I will include it in the description below so you can find it. And I will, of course, include the direct link to the gallery for this build so you can download it if you want to. But I really enjoy doing these shell challenges because I like to check out everybody else's version. It is such a joy to me and a good use of my time to see everybody else's creativity. It just floors me. And I love watching, like, if they do, like, if Kate does a tour of the build, I think she's going to make a video in this case of like her top 5, if I recall correctly. I could be mistaken, but I think, if they're doing a Twitch tour or they make a YouTube video of their favorite tours, whatever, I just love doing shell challenges. Here I thought, okay, we have the office room here that, people would come, the workers would come and chill out and have their lunch and stuff. And we got to have another bathroom. I know there's like the kind of main bathroom that any visitors would use down by the office. But then I thought the workers would have their own kind of dedicated bathroom that wasn't open to the public. Here again, just rotating that chair using the tool mod. I wanted to, look like it was kicked over or, whatever, and kind of just add to that murky abandoned. We ended up using a lot of this kind of hardware, thinking of a lot of water running through this plant. And even though its main purpose is to generate power, I definitely wanted to have the feel of, there's a water element as well. Here I was trying to use a lot of the veterinarian equipment to kind of, because it has the cheap, like there's 2 versions that came with cats and dogs. So there's the run down cheap version and then there's the nicer version. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make this look like some equipment that you'd have in a power plant and use the tattered version. In the end, I think I get rid of most of the equipment and trade it out, I think, for things like an eco lifestyle and things like that. But that was where I was going initially, was thinking about, this kind of battered and worn equipment. We end up using the Strangerville swatches to complete that look. And with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.